in your arenas even up to this day. We on every Sunday there's a tradition. Y'all have made it church. Okay, you get your hot wings, you get your beer, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, but you have this place the Most High for this arena of sport. Who's in who's mostly in the arena of sports? Judah. Yeah. The 12 tribes.
So-called African Americans.
So-called African Americans. Mm-hmm. That's your arena of sport. Samson was in the arena of sport for them, for their enjoyment. Always have been us, and it's always been us. Keep going, Prophet.
Okay. So as it says, Samson, that he may perform for us.
Mm.
So they called for Samson from the prison, and he performed for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they stationed him between the pillars.
Okay.
Then Samson said to the lads, who held him by the hand, let me feel the pillars which support the temple, so that I can lean on them. Now the temple was full of men and women. All the lords of the Philistines were there.
All right, now here it is now. Remember now, Samson, his hair's growing back. Okay, he's blind. They gushed out his eyes.
Gouged his eyes out.
They gouged his eyes out. He's blind. Okay, but the Spirit is still working with him. And I don't think, I mean, he probably knew it. He probably heard people talking around and everything. But the scripture said the Lord of the Philistines, the men and the women, they was all in this one place. Remember, the Most High is going to get the glory, brothers and sisters, regardless. Go read the prophets.
All the lords of the Philistines were there, about 3,000 men and women on the roof, watching while Samson performed. Then Samson called to the Lord, saying, O Most High God, remember me, I pray. Strengthen me, I pray, just this once. O Most High God, that I may with one blow take vengeance on the Philistines for my 2 eyes.
For my 2 eyes. The warrior spirit that was in Samson rose up. It spoke. And guess who heard his prayer? The Most High. What happened, prophet?
Verse 29, and Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars which supported the temple, and he braced himself against them, one on his right and the other on his left. Then Samson said, let me die with the Philistines. And he pushed with all his might. And the temple fell on the lords and all the people who were in it. So the dead that he killed at his death were more than he had killed in his life.
Wow.
And his brothers and all his father's household came down and took him and brought him up and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in the tomb of his father Manoah. He had judged Israel 20 years.
Wow. Wow. Brothers and sisters, did y'all see that? Now, you may call it suicide at that point, but Samson, he knew what he was doing. You know what that was? And the enemy has been doing this for since the beginning of time, since they've been sacrificing to Baal. They've been doing this, and they're doing it now. That was a sacrifice unto the Most High.
So that he might get the glory. So that they would not have the last laugh. Because they're making sport. So, and that term, when we think about that term, make sport, so that he can make sport or so that he can perform, as it reads in the New King James Version, is really just a mockery. They're just showing off, or wanting him to entertain him. Show us your strength now. What can you do? Court jesters. Most of those were always us.
Yes, it was. Yes,
they were us.
Speaking prophet, what you say?
TV will tell you it was somebody else, another nationality, but it was always us. Because we were the ones under the curse, and they made sport of us. And they knew or believed that they had made some sort of ground for all the dead that he had killed, and coming against the God that he served, the Most High God. And that's another thing. When we say the Most High God, don't you understand that there are other little God.
Yes, ma'am. You said it. You said it, Prophet.
Dagon was specifically the one that they worshipped was a god of vegetation, and they adopted by the Philistines as their principal deity. So that was their deity, and it was a god of vegetation. It's interesting. Most of the time, that's why it was so many gods. They had a god for vegetation. They had a god for rain. They had a god for the mountains. They had a god for the air. It was a god for everything. So certainly when you start thinking about that, it's many gods, and it's certainly confusing. But what Samson did was he realized that he had fallen by telling his secret. He had been beguiled and told his secret. And by that way, you know, it dishonored the Most High. A lot of times we always look at the man, oh, he had to be ashamed. No, he represented the Most High.
He did represent the Most High.
And he realized that when he did what he did, he thought it was for his own pleasure, but when it all came to the end, you had disgraced and shamed the name of the Most High. So what he did going out, people may see it, oh, it was a suicide thing. No, it was so that the Most High would know that my heart really never left you. Please forgive me and let me do this last thing that your name might be glorified.
Might be glorified. Brothers and sisters, now, as the prophet did touch on that, I want to piggyback on that. She said a wonderful thing. And think about it. Okay? Think about it. Whatever you do for the Lord is the only thing that's going to be notified or respected or acknowledged here on this plane. All right? In the book of Revelation, it talks about those that did not receive the mark of the beast. They were beheaded, they were killed for the testimony of Christ. Okay? So, if someone is telling you, hey, and you know the scripture, someone is telling you, hey, if you don't take this mark, if you don't take this mark, what we're going to do here, we're going to go ahead and kill you. Okay? Now, because of fear of what man say, or fear of losing your physical life, you disobey the Most High and you take that mark. Okay? What does that make you? You're doomed to hell. Okay? That's what that makes you. You're doomed to hell. But if I say, you know what? Take your mark and throw it where the sun don't shine, or take your mark and you put it on yourself, I refuse to take it. Do that mean I'm committing suicide? Because I already know they're going to kill me for not doing it. Am I committing suicide or being obedient to the Most High? I am being obedient to the Most High.
There's a difference between suicide and, you know, let's just deal with what suicide is, first of all. Suicide is the taking of your life for your own purpose, period. So it can't even be compared to what you do in honor of the Most High, that He might be glorified.
Say that again, Prophet.
Suicide is the taking of your own life for your own selfish reasons. Oh, I'm so sad. Oh, I'm depressed. Oh, I can't pay these bills. Oh, I'm in debt over my head. I don't want to live anymore. Things like that. Most of the time when people commit suicide, notes are often left behind, or if notes aren't left behind, oh, your debts are left behind. And so people realize why you did it. And most of the time you've done it because of some worldly thing that you got caught up in. So it has nothing to do with the Most High. When you do, that's called murder. That is a murder. It is no way to be considered or even equivalent to suicide, because it's done for the glorification of the Most High. When someone commits suicide, they did it because they're cowards and they don't know how to address it. They feel like all hope is gone. Most of the time, these are not people who believe in the Most High.
Exactly. Brothers and sisters, we got to remember who gives us our strength, who gives us victory in our daily walk. Okay. Now, we looked at Abraham, the father of faith. We look at Samson, a warrior in his true nature. I love the story of Samson. I'm hoping that they make a movie on Samson, truly, with the true character depiction, the true nature of Samson. But I can hope for that. But now, let's look at a champion that a lot of people already know about. Let's go into David. Okay? Remember, these people kept the honor and the glory of the nation of Israel going on. Okay? Let's look at 1 Samuel chapter 17. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 17. And we just want to touch a little bit of, we know what David did, but we're going to touch a little bit of what was the reason for this. Let's look at verse 21. I'm going to let prophets read all the way down here to verse 21.
Start at 21.
You start at verse 21.
All right. For Israel and the Philistines had drawn up in battle array, army against army.
Okay.
And David left his supplies in the hand of the supply keeper. He ran to the army and came and greeted his brothers.
Now, prophets, at this time, David was a young man, right? And I believe Saul was king at this time, and Israel and the Philistines was beefing. And that's your term that my people know today. They were beefing. They was coming back into battle. We just got these Philistines was tormenting Samson. Okay, so here you go again. These Philistines again messing with Israel. Keep reading, prophets.
Then he talked with them. So once he greeted his brothers who were at this particular battle, then he talked with them there. And was the champion, and there was the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, coming up from the armies of the Philistines, and he spoke according to the same words. So David heard them, and all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him and were dreadfully afraid.
Okay, so brothers, this is what I'm saying. All right. We represent the nation of Israel. The kingdom of the Most High is within you. Okay? God would not be mocked. All right? He is not a coward. These people that was in the nation of Israel were afraid about what they saw with their eyes. David was not afraid about what he saw with his eyes. And he heard the blasphemy from this Philistine. He heard it. Keep reading, prophet.
Okay. And just before I continue on, and we'll pick up at verse 24 here, if you could, we recognize that this is the story of David and Goliath, but we want to give a little bit of more structure to Goliath for those who may not know. In 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 4, it says, "And a champion went out from the camp of the Philistines named Goliath from God, whose height was 6 cubits and a span." So that's 6 feet or maybe more than that?
Well,
how many cubits?
In the King James, it says this guy was about 9 feet tall, 9 inches.
Okay, and that is to us, that's huge. That's taller than the average even basketball player.
Exactly.
It's more like, who's very, very tall? The guy from Africa, what was his,
Mutombo?
Yeah, Mutombo, or even Yao. Yao was pretty tall.
He was very tall. So it said that the armor that Goliath wore on his body and stuff weighed about 125 pounds.
So yeah, you're big. Not only are you tall, but you have to be strong to carry something like that and move. Because soldiers have to move.
You going out to battle with that armor?
That's a lot of weight. That is a lot of weight. So I just wanted to bring that out.
Thank you, Prophet. We got to understand now, brothers and sisters, now, the story of giants is true. The story of giants is true, brothers and sisters. You can research it. The bones tell the story. Okay? Go ahead, Prophet.
Beginning at verse 24, and all the men of Israel.
And all the who?
All the men of Israel. When they saw the man, fled from him and were dreadfully afraid. So
when the Most High saw this, he looked upon it with shame.
Absolutely. I'm with you.
You're my people. You're called by my name, and you're afraid of this one man. I know he big. Joshua and them, they saw angels.
I was just getting ready to
go
say
ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yep. Joshua and them, they saw men too. All right? Keep reading, Proverbs.
I'm just going to make note. We're going to come back to that size and fear, especially when it comes to man. But and where is that with the Most High God? So people that walk with the Most High God and they fear the size of anything. It's shameful to him.
Well, you know what? This bill is too big.
Yeah.
my cardinal, I can't handle it.
Absolutely, and so that when we were talking about suicide, isn't that some of the things that they take themselves out for? This is too big.
It's too much for me to
too
handle.
much debt. I can't take it. You know, so that's where it comes in, and that's how it plays off of itself, or they play off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
When you have the Most High, what are you running from?
Right.